First question, what is the most encouraging thing that's happened recently in the world of sustainable finance? Mitch?
So speaking from an ESG integration point of view, I would say that the most encouraging thing that's happening right now is the growing acceptance of ESG integration as part of mainstream investing in credit, that it is really folded now in the fiber of investment processes. Perhaps the penetration of that is not uniform across the globe. Certainly in Europe it's the highest, increasingly so in the US, but in Asia when I'm there I no longer get the question of, well, I don't do ESG in my investments, I do charity on my own time. So there's a growing acceptance. That's very, very encouraging. It signals a kind of permanence in that direction.
What is the most discouraging thing that's happened recently in sustainable finance?
I would say lack of additionality. And even I'll make a mea culpa as an issuer, we've been struggling to find additionality. That being said, it's we've only financed projects that would have financed anyways, but we chose to finance them through green bonds to raise awareness to what Quebec government is doing to address climate change. But internally, we've been struggling to find projects that, like for example, where hospitals or schools, as a gun would build, we're trying to have these projects to have a LEED certification, but it's not in the card right now. So we're working very hard to have this additionality. And I think it's not just ourselves as an issuer, but I think it's lacking a little bit right now in the green bond market.
Now, we've mentioned a couple of times the Sustainable Finance Action Plan of the European Union. This is the most ambitious set of policies to promote green finance ever attempted in a Western country. And as Aldo referred to, there were 3 announcements today from Brussels. One of them is about this taxonomy of sustainable economic activities, which is going to be basically a sort of guide to what is green, what is sustainable, and so on. Now, another one of interest to this audience is something called the Green Bond Standard, which is related to the taxonomy but different. So the point of all this is to help financial markets accelerate the transition to a more sustainable economy. So my question to the panel is it actually going to? Or is there a risk that this is just a lot of regulation that might actually get in the way?
So I speak here not as a representative of the Bank of the European Union, but as a market practitioner, a user. I'm absolutely convinced that what is coming, what has been produced, is helping the market. And will help the market more all the time because we have to see things in perspective. Any discouraging snapshot view of what you have today, in particular the fact that people are critical rather than engaging, needs to be put indeed in perspective. You have the opportunity today to engage on the basis of a framework that has never been there before, and particularly not in the green bond market. So just to provide you an example, indeed, you were saying before, investors have a role to play, and this is exactly the attitude that has been taken on board by the Commission. The idea is that if investors ask questions with regard to what people do, can be intermediaries like us, but it can also be, of course, economic actors in the real economy. And, you know, they do this in an accountable manner by reference to an accountable platform. Then you have a series of knock-on effects. You come to us, you know, we ask, and in order to, you know, qualify a financial product as sustainable, the Commission says you have to prove that the underlying activities do contribute in a substantial manner to some shared objectives.
Maybe give a little bit of a North American view here. Our market is very, very different. There's a lot less green bond issuers in North America. And we had, from the start, when we issued our first green bond in 2017, right from the start, we followed the green bond principles and laid out a framework according to it. And it was clear. We also talked to a lot of investors in Canada to see what they actually wanted, what was their definition of a green bond. And I think our approach is a little bit more free market than what's going on here in UK and Europe. And at the end of the day, one thing I think it's all positive, and I'm pretty sure, and I'm very positive that the green bond we've issued will follow what just came out, because we made sure we put a very high standard product out there. But at the end of the day, when I look as an issuer and I look at my team, we're a very small team. One of the risks, I think that's been avoided here, one of the risks, if you keep adding layers of regulation over the market, some potential issuers might just say, no, I just can't go that way. So that's, but I think this has been avoided. So that's the positive thing.